Morning children, welcome to online classes for 9th standard. In previous class we have discussed about what is matter and we discussed about basic things about the chapter called matter in our surroundings. In second part we are going to discuss about characteristics of particles of matter. So as we came to know that all the matter are made up of what? Particles, and those particles having some important characteristics. Those are, first one, the particles of matter have space between them, and second one, the particles of matter are continuously moving, and third one, the particles of matter attract each other. So these are the three main properties of or characteristics of what? Particles. So these three characteristics let us study in detail by an activity. First one, that is particles of matter have space between them. So let us conduct a small activity. By this activity we will come to know that the particles of matter are having space between them. In that first one, so we should take some water in a beaker and we should note their level and dissolve some salt or sugar in it with the help of glass rod, and the salt dissolves in the water but the level of water does not change. This is because of particles of salt get into the space between the particles of water. It means that we should take the beaker and some amount of salt or maybe sugar and water. So in the beaker we should take 100 ml of water. In that we should add some amount of salt or sugar and we need to stir it well with the help of a glass rod. After that, if you see that the level of water does not changes but the taste of the water changes, then we can't able to see the particles of salt or sugar into the water, because those particles of salt or sugar it completely dissolved into the water. It means that the particles of salt are dissolved in the particles of water. By this activity we came to know that the particles of matter have space between them. So all the particles of salt or sugar, they took up space into the particles of water. By this activity we came to know that the first characteristic of particles. Let's go for second characteristic of particles, that is the particles of matter are continuously moving. But again we need to conduct small activity. By this we will come to know that the particles are continuously moving or not. Take some water in a beaker and put a drop of blue or red color ink into the beaker containing water. You just leave it after adding a ink, either maybe a blue or red. After adding this ink into the beaker containing water, leave it for some time without disturbing. You just observing, slowly the color changes. It means that the particles of the ink, like or red or blue, they slowly moves into the water. That gives what? The particles of ink are moving. They are not stable. They won't stable at one particular place. They are continuously moving into the matter. So this is, leave it undisturbed for a few hours. The thing spreads evenly throughout the water due to the movement of the water and the ink. Here the particles of water and the particles of ink both are moving continuously, so that the water color changes. By this activity we came to know that the particles of matter are not stable, they are continuously moving into the matter. Next one, third important characteristic of the particles, that is the particles of matter are attract each other. In a matter, all the particles they are attracted with each other, with one particle with another particle. Again we will understand this characteristic by conducting small activity. We should take three important materials here, or three important matter. One is iron nail, the another one is what? Chalk piece, the another one, last one, that is rubber band. All these three matter, you just try to break them, either by hammering, either by stretching, either by cutting them. You just try to break all these three matters. So in which material breaks easily? Obviously, the chalk piece breaks easily if you hammer it, and if you stretch roughly, and even the rubber band also breaks easily. But whereas iron nail, it not breaks easily if you hammer, or if you try to cut, or if you try to stretch. Why? Because the matters held in the nail, iron nail, are tightly packed. All the matters or this matter contain the particles are tightly attracted. All the particles in the iron nail are attracted with each other very tightly. Whereas when compared to chalk piece, here the particles are attracted each other, but not as like a iron nail. In the same way, the rubber band also, the particles in the rubber band, the particles are not attracted to each other, but not tightly when compared to the iron nail. So by these activities, we came to know that the particles in the matter are attracted with each other with a force, greater force. Here the force of attraction is greater. Here the force of attraction is lesser when compared to the iron nail, and here the force of attraction is lesser when compared to other two examples here. Okay, by these three activities, which gives us clear picture about the important characteristics of particles of a matter. In the next class, we discuss about more about the chapter. Thank you.